Welcome back, everybody, to your three-man booth off-season edition. I'm Dan Salem with Phil and Bud. Section 323 podcast will be back soon enough with the season getting going after the draft. How are you guys doing? We're all still at home. Bud's about to make drinks for us on YouTube. What's going on?
Are you guys slow, or is it my computer?
I do not think we're slow, but we'll see how it goes as we start trying to talk. If I talk really slowly, it'll throw you off.
Yeah.
Whatever. I've been drinking bourbon all night, so it might just be that.
So we're going to get happy Jets talk from you on the bourbon.
No, you're going to get real Jets talk with me. I mean, that's usually what happens when it comes to the Jets.
Well, we got two Jets fans here. Phil, you're the Giants fan. I have my own opinions on the Giants. I don't know which team should we start with. Do you guys care?
I think we should start with the Jets.
All right.
I think so too. I think the discussion will be a little more lively.
I do too. So I'm very happy because I don't have much opinion one way or the other on the Jets, except that they checked all the boxes that they went into the draft with, and they always manage to do something stupid, and I don't feel like they did anything stupid. So I could get into each individual pick, but my general feeling is I'm happy with the general manager and his first full offseason. Bud, I know you took issue with the first pick, and then you said you came back around on it in round 2. They traded their round 2 pick for the same guy they would have picked, and another pick later with the Seahawks. I don't really understand why Seattle made that.
Well, after the first round pick, I texted both you guys, and I was ready to throw my phone through the TV.
Yeah.
So we were playing because obviously we're all quarantined. So I had the TV on. We were watching the draft. Well, I was watching the draft. Lori was just very politely sitting next to me. We were playing a game over Zoom with my brother-in-law, and the Jets picked, and I unloaded because I would have thought that you would have definitely gone wide receiver. It was wide receiver heavy. I was so mad that they left CeeDee Lamb on the board and Drury, whatever the guy, the kid's name is from Alabama.
So you weren't happy though that they picked the second best offensive lineman after the Giants inexplicably picked the 4th or 5th rated one?
But after I had time to sleep on it, as you guys told me to do, and my brother told me to do it, they said, go to bed, sleep on it. I woke up the next day feeling a little bit better. I think, when you look at it, Becton is 6'7", 300 and something pounds. I mean, the next day I watched. I don't know these guys like these guys. I just wanted them to pick a wide receiver because that's what I felt they needed. They needed weapons, right? They went out and they spent all this money on offensive line in the offseason. And I thought to myself, okay, well, we've kind of solidified the offensive line, right? Now we need weapons for Sam Darnold for this offense to really get going. And you just lost Robbie Anderson. You have no down the field threat.
Right.
It's just one of those things, right? But once I watched a video of this guy is a monster.
He's one of the fastest offensive linemen at the combine ever.
He's on like a 4-something 40, right? So, and he's 370 something pounds. I'm hoping. The last time the Jets picked an offensive lineman in the first round was in 2004, 2005.
Was that DeBrickashaw?
That was when they picked DeBrickashaw first, and then they picked Nick Mangold in the same first round. They went back to back, and I think we can all say that those turned out to be tremendous picks for the Jets. I mean, cornerstones of Rex Ryan's ground and pound, right? So I think
I'm picturing Becton rolling out on a sweep and just destroying somebody for Le'Veon Bell.
I hope so, because I mean we talk about this in nauseum over the course of last year. Is Le'Veon Bell has no time to run. He has no holes. I mean, he's a patient runner. He finds a hole and then he jets, right?
Yeah.
There was none of that. So I like how Joe Douglas went into this draft and he filled the holes that needed to be filled. I was impressed with his draft. You know,
he got a lot of speed.
7th round picks. Those are just stopgap players anyway. I mean,
except he drafted the best punter in the draft with their 6th round.
Their punting game, Phil can attest to this. I cannot stand their punter.
Well, he's gone. Now he's gone. So
Lachlan Edwards, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He's awful.
Well, he's not.
Awful.
He won't be back. So can feel good about that.
And especially how the Jets play. It's funny. I joke. The punter is the best. It needs to be the best player on the Jets because they have no offense.
Yeah.
It's all a a field possession game. Listen, I was happy.
Yeah. And then did you see how many college team captains they drafted and how much speed they drafted? That was what Douglas said he wanted to get, and I really am thrilled he followed through on that. You get people that were team leaders, and they're going to actually create a team for the Jets, which they never seem to have. So it's nice.
I will say this, and I know that it's premature, and I'm going to harp on it all year. I mean, obviously we don't know if there's going to be football. I'm hoping that there will be.
Yeah.
This is last year Adam Gase had all these excuses of why this team wasn't very good and players and yada, yada, yada. You have your GM now. You have an offensive line. You got a franchise quarterback. There's no excuses now.
And you have one of the best running backs in the last 5 years. Not
right.
Last season excluded. So
right. So I mean, you put all that stuff together.
When Greg Williams made a great,
I'm expecting big things in a division that is, I think winnable. I think Miami got better, and I think Buffalo is much better than people are giving them credit for. But I think it is.
Well, in the interest of tossing it to Phil, I was thrilled to see Miami successfully tank for Tua. What did you think, Phil?
So the last couple of days right before the draft, you heard they were going to move up to 2. They called it. Apparently, there was a report that they called Cincinnati, and Cincinnati said no. Then they were going to trade with the Lions at 3. And you're right. That was their plan going into the season, and they ended up getting their guy. I hope they're happy with him.
I hope so, too. I mean, I kind of like him better than the guy that Cincinnati went with. I mean, he had a great season, maybe best season in college history, but he only had one great season.
Let's see, if Tua didn't get hurt last year, there would have been no doubt he was going to be a Cincinnati Bengal, right? So if all these doctors and all these experts say his hip is fine, it's great, then Miami got a steal then.
Well, and we've seen it happen twice before where Darnold was going to be the number 1 pick. He went back to school and came out and was picked behind the Heisman Trophy winner and what's-his-face in Cleveland.
Mayfield.
Yeah, Mayfield. And
but he still went number 3. So I mean, it's not like he dropped. I mean,
no, but he was the prohibitive number 1 pick the year prior.
And if Washington, which we can debate that, if Washington, Detroit, or the Giants needed a quarterback, then Tua would have went 2, 3, or 4 instead of 5. It was a team need at that point.
Detroit needs a quarterback.
You're right, but they didn't pick one though.
No,
they need one, but they don't need one yet. And we can debate Dwayne Haskins all you want, but
you got to give him another shot. He's their rookie.
Too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you got to give him a second year. But
so we talked about this, about where Tua would fall, and how his prognosis is with his hip and all this other stuff. And I've been adamant on saying that Miami is actually the best spot for him. And the only reason why I say that is that you don't know what he's going to be coming right out with the hip injury. You already have Fitzpatrick, who's a very serviceable quarterback. He did great for Miami this year. He would learn a lot under Fitzpatrick, I think. And if you were to essentially say you redshirt him this year, right? You drafted him 5. He's not playing this year. Fitz is going to play all year, and he's just going to learn. He's going to protect his hip. He's going to get better. He's going to learn the system, how to be an NFL quarterback. I think, in the long term, that actually benefits Tua and Miami, because I don't think, if he went to Cincinnati, he'd be expected to play right away, right? And we don't know what his injury is going to be.
Did they still have Andy Dalton, or did they release him?
They still have him. Apparently, what I read today was that they were trying to trade him, but nobody wanted him, which I find insanely odd.
I guarantee you the Patriots are just waiting for his price to drop because they can't be happy with the guy they got, Stidman or whatever.
First off, Bill Belichick is having the dog make the draft pick. He doesn't give a crap about any of this stuff. I mean, I'm surprised Cam Newton hasn't found a job. Where's Cam Newton going?
I think they're waiting for the price to drop. I don't know why. Maybe
Jameis Winston just signed with the Saints today too.
Yeah. Be their
Taysom
backup.
Hill got $21 million. I mean, he's going to be backup quarterback.
He's going to be sharing backup quarterback with Taysom Hill,
who also got $21 million.
That's right.
New Orleans is flush apparently. They want to pay Cam. Well, so to your point, I mean, realistically, we know Miami sucks. Tua's going to be in October 1st. And same with Cincinnati. They could let Dalton play the first month, and then what's-his-face will take over. But
Burrow's going to be week 1 starter.
Probably. But I'm shocked that Detroit passed on Tua. They must feel like Matthew Stafford's got 3 years left because otherwise, if he's got 1 season left, you redshirt Tua, like you said, behind Stafford, who's a better quarterback than Fitzpatrick. It's interesting that they passed on that.
It's hard to say he's a better quarterback when he has no NFL experience, though, Dan.
No, Matthew Stafford.
No, I thought you said Fitzpatrick.
I was saying
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I was comparing the Detroit starter to the Miami starter. But
Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback. I mean, we've talked about this. I mean, the only reason why Matthew Stafford has dropped the last 3 years is Detroit has not given him any weapons. They have no running game, a shoddy offensive line, and no wide receivers. They have, Kenny Galladay, right? That's it. That's it.
But they drafted defense. So I'm just like, what do they do?
But even their defense isn't that great. I mean, Matt Patricia thinks he's like this defensive guru. He's not.
Well, all the more reason to draft a rookie quarterback, trade Stafford, and start over. I mean, that's why I'm like, I don't know why you're riding with him.
But Matthew Stafford's got a lot of money on his contract, so unless somebody wants to eat that money,
yeah,
you're going to see. I think with this whole coronavirus thing, I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of teams as they get closer to whenever the season is going to start dropping some of these big name players because in NFL there's no guaranteed money. There's only a minimal hit on the cap depending on the player.
And a lot of these guys got injury. A lot of these guys get injury guarantees, so maybe they'll be getting injured.
Right. And
it'd also be interesting if that cap number goes down. Let's say there's no fans in any of these stadiums. I mean, that's a lot of revenue that these teams are losing. It's gotta take a hit somewhere, whether it's the cap or.
But so the NFL's got this exclusive deal with DirecTV, right? Couldn't they just go ahead and say F you and make 4 other deals, one with Netflix, one with Amazon, and start streaming the games? And then they got 4 or 5 streaming deals running with these things.
Well, they already streamed some games with Yahoo, but those I think are the international games. I'd have to imagine that international games are done this year.
Yeah, right. But I'm just like, if they're not going to get the in-stadium revenues, I could see them coming up with creative ways to pull revenue from people wanting to watch. Everyone's going to want to watch. So
well, I think there's going to be some instances where you're going to be able to have fans in the stands.
Right.
Now, I think places like California, New York City, maybe New Orleans, it's going to be harder for them to get fans in the stadium right away just because they are –
we know Atlanta –
all of this, right? But if somebody –
dome will be open. Atlanta's dome will be open.
Oh, please. I gotta go to Atlanta for a conference. My conference got canceled, and I gotta go back in September. And there's no flights going to Atlanta right now.
Ooh, you get to drive.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, but we kind of dancing around the Giants pick at 4. I was a little surprised who they went with. So you need an opportunity to share your feelings.
Well, so I will say this. It was nice for the first time in 3 years that the day after the draft was not the sky is falling because the Giants picked Barkley at 2, which was a great pick, or they picked Daniel Jones at 7, which is turning out to be not as bad as everyone thought it was in the beginning. All right, so we knew they're going to go offensive. But it was either that was it Chase Edmonds? Chase Edmonds, am I thinking of the name, or Simmons? I forget his name. Simmons, that linebacker / defensive end / safety, whatever you want to call him, or Isaiah Simmons. That's what it was. Or they were going to go offensive tackle. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know the difference between one tackle versus another, and I'm pretty sure you guys can't either. So for anyone to be like, wow, he was the fourth best one, these guys were probably separated by this much, right? I'm not going to pretend to know that one tackle is better. And again, it's a tackle. It's not like it's going to make a huge world of difference whether you pick one guy, two guy, or three guy. That's my opinion. I don't know enough to make that decision.
I will say to you that there were top four, and for whatever reason they kept saying there was a clear top three and then the fourth guy. And it's silly. I agree that they did that. The other thing is the odds are that 3 of the 4 will be successful. I don't know if the numbers are pretty high for all 4 of them being successful. Who knows which ones you pick successful ones.
Agreed.
But generally you pick an offensive lineman, top 10, top 15, they are successful because they've stood out. And they're not flashy picks, but I agree. The Giants absolutely needed that. For Barkley, Jones.
They'll talk about the Barkley one, they'll talk about the Deion Jones one. No one's going to talk about the Andrew Thomas offensive tackle in the next 3 or 4 years. He's going to be there. Hopefully he does a good job. As long as you don't have an offensive line full of Eric Flowers, I'm happy.
Yeah, Eric Flowers is a Pro Bowler, Phil.
Oh yeah, Eric. Yeah, there's 2 Eric Flowers in the league, by the way.
So Andrew Thomas, I have his stats called up. Andrew Thomas was the number 3 rated offensive tackle in the draft. He's 6'5", 315 pounds. He's no slouch, right? But Becton, was rated higher, and he fell.
All right. Well, again, those are.
To your point, though, Phil, we're talking minuscule.
Right.
If you're going that high in the draft, you're clearly good. Yeah. You're clearly good. Offensive tackles and offensive linemen that go in the top 10 don't tend to be slouches. Zach Martin, the Brickashaw Ferguson. These guys are world-class offensive linemen, right? So
they rarely bust. I know. They rarely bust.
Right.
Were you disappointed they didn't make a trade, though? Because there's so much trade talk. I mean, nobody traded, but
whether I believe it or not, I tend to believe it. But Gettleman said that there wasn't an offer good enough out there, and I believe that only because there were no trades in the top 5 when we heard all week there was going to be 3 or 4 trades go. Nobody moved up. LA didn't. The Chargers didn't move up. Miami didn't move up.
No.
Any of these teams below, nobody moved up. So either there wasn't the asking price was too high, or they weren't interested. But I would have been fine either way. Whether draft who you drafted or trade back, I was fine. But Giants had 10 picks, right? 7 out of the 10 went to defense. The first 2 out of the first 3 were offensive tackles. So the rest of your picks were basically defensive players, safeties, cornerbacks, linebackers, cornerbacks. I mean, they loaded up.
Well, Gettleman's got to improve his track record in the later rounds, but that's great because their defense was terrible. So,
right, load up on the defense. So again, an offensive tackle is not a sexy pick. It's not a running back. It's not a quarterback. Just do the job. They needed that because Barkley had no, like Bud said with Le'Veon Bell, Barkley had no holes to run through last year, and you got to protect Daniel Jones' backside. So you had to go offensive tackle.
I say, to Bud's credit, he did make the Jets pick of an offensive lineman feel pretty sexy.
So is the tackle that you guys got the one that jumped out of the pool, or was that the one that went to Cleveland?
Oh, I didn't see that video.
You didn't see that?
I think that's you. I think that's yours.
No, I don't think it was, but who knows? Whatever. One of the guys jumped out. Dan, you didn't see this, Dan? He jumped out of the shallow end of the pool, completely under the top of the, under the concrete.
I can't do that. I can barely swim.
Oh, look it up. You'll see it.
Okay.
It's very impressive.
So I don't know if you placed any wagers on the draft, Phil, because apparently it was a highly betted event, but I would put money on Cleveland's offensive tackle being the one that busts.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of expectations in Cleveland this year.
There was a lot of expectations.
I was high on Cleveland. They sucked.
Yeah, they still got Odell Beckham and what's his face from Miami, formerly from Miami.
Landry.
So I'm looking over the draft pick. The Giants picked an offensive tackle from Connecticut in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Gettleman knows that Connecticut's football program program is awful.
The Giants like to draft people from UConn. All right, they have a record, a track record, I think.
I mean, they're not really known for their football players. I mean,
No, but
Diana Taurasi's pretty good, but
yeah,
you know,
perhaps there's.
Well, it's interesting. So their first two picks came out of the SEC, which we all know. I don't watch a lot of college football, but I do know the SEC is the cream of the crop there.
Yeah,
Coming from Georgia and Alabama here.
Was Green Bay the first trade when they traded up for their quarterback of the future? I assume. Was that the first
I don't know if it was the first trade, but it's going to be the most memorable one.
It wasn't. Tampa Bay traded to move up to get the offensive lineman for Mr. Perfect.
Yes.
Which, honestly, I hope he does well because he's not playing in the AFC East anymore. I could care less about him.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay is going to be stacked.
On paper, yes.
On paper. You're absolutely right. Gronk is coming back. Tom Brady is doing resistant band workouts. They just got a stud offensive lineman. They have 3 solid wide receivers. What happens to O.J. Mayo? Not O.J. Mayo.
Or O.J. Howard? They got to trade him, right? Well, no. Here, hold on. Do you actually think Gronk's going to be good? He looks so skinny compared to his former playing weight.
He'll bulk up. I mean, I'm sure he'll take the creatine and get going. I mean, his biggest issue is that his 24/7 belt from the WWE.
I sent you guys that article, right?
I'm sure it's not an exclusive contract.
Didn't he sign a contract? I mean, he's going to have to void his contract to go to play football now, right?
I bet. I would bet. I don't know this for sure, but if he was thinking, because apparently there was a report that he was thinking about this about months ago, if Tom Brady went to anywhere else but the Patriots, because he had no desire to go back to New England. There must have been some like, hey, wink, wink. If I go back to the NFL, I need an out clause or something like that.
Well, I mean, the Buccaneers aren't going to want him to go do the wrestling thing during the season, but he could technically have it in his contract both sides that lets him.
I can't imagine that it would, though, Dan. I mean, what if he got hurt playing? What if he got hurt in the offseason wrestling?
Right, but Deion played baseball and then went and played football and bounced back and forth.
That's different. It's not pro wrestling.
Baseball's a real sport.
But it's less contact.
You're not getting body slammed by a 350-pound man that's 6'5".
But it's choreographed, so you'd think that they've worked on it enough that he wouldn't get hurt.
I don't know the details. I think it's.
I mean, there's always an injury risk. He's basically a high-paid stuntman with a story arc. So it's very intense. I'm not pretending it's not physical and there's not an injury risk, but I could see it working. Especially, I'm skeptical of his ability to really fit into their offense more than season tickets.
I foresee Gronk coming back, and he's probably not as good as he was, but I would say that he's still.
But
he's still going to make a pretty big impact in an NFC South.
So O.J. Howard, Gronk, and then the 3 wide receivers in a 5-receiver set is scary.
Yes, it is very, very scary. And
didn't they just get a running back too from somewhere?
They have a decent running game. They have a decent offensive line. Their defense is obviously better. Their defense was not the reason why they lost games last year. They lost games last year because Jameis Winston couldn't protect the ball.
This is the Todd Bowles defense, right?
Yeah, and it's top 10 in the league.
Irony, yeah. Bruce Arians, Todd Bowles for you.
But think about it. That offense was top 10 and top 5 in the league.
Oh, yeah.
With Jameis Winston throwing 35 interceptions. Tom Brady's not going to throw 35 interceptions.
Mike Evans is going to be a number 1 first-round draft pick this year with all this weaponry going on.
Well, let's not forget that Tom Brady can't throw deep outside of September.
That's okay.
Jameis Winston still could.
But with the warm weather and not having to play in the New England winters, might change things up a little bit.
I was thinking the other day, I don't know if I told you guys, but let's say they're playing at 25% capacity, 50% capacity. Miami and Jacksonville are used to playing in front of nobody, so that's going to be business as usual for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I know the MLB's floating a rearrangement of the divisions to only play local teams and try to keep things fanless because they want to obviously get going. I mean, the NFL has that ability too. It really throw a wrench into what we see as football with our allegiances.
The NHL is trying to do something similar, Dan, whereas they're taking actually the 4 divisions of each conference and they're trying to keep them localized where they can just play in a neutral site. And basically, it would be like you're playing in a men's hockey tournament where you'd have games at 8:00 in the morning, and then you'd have games at 11:30, and then you'd basically just clean the ice, and there'd be a rotation through the locker rooms. And they're trying to get it as. I don't see how that happens, but that's just me.
I mean, they can do it. All they got to do is they'll just clean it between games.
It's a lot of cleaning, Dan.
Well, it is, but I mean, assuming things have actually gotten a little bit better, then it's the players are okaying the fact that they're willing to be around their teammates and against the opponents.
Yeah.
And if they all get checked at the door, then they're all good. I mean, these players will probably get all screened or tested.
But the NBA players have said, okay, well, you can open up the gyms, right, at the practice facilities, and the NFL is going to go through the same thing. They're
Right.
going to go through the same progress, right?
Yeah.
Only certain players can go in, certain number at a time, and whatever that date is, they're still going to need like a month to regroup because they've been off for 2 months.
Right.
So, and there's a good scenario that NFL training camps are done this year.
Most people don't want to go to training camp anyway, so.
Yeah.
I know most people don't want to go to training camp, but contrary to what everybody else thinks, like Le'Veon Bell and all these other players, it's actually important to go.
I know.
So, you know,
they could do a training camp in August instead of having a preseason and just do loose stuff. I mean, we'll see.
I saw something today that if they instead of starting the beginning of September, you start the end of September, that pushes the Super Bowl back to the end of February. That's not so bad.
I saw that too. Like they were talking about, I think starting the second week of October, eliminating preseason, starting the second week of October, eliminating buys, eliminating the Pro Bowl, which would eliminate the bye between the championship game and the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And you would basically play from October all the way through to the end of February.
Yeah.
I think that's probably more of a realistic expectation.
They already
Yeah.
Well, they already ratified the new CBA, which really allows them to push towards the end of the league year because there's no reason to worry.
Could you imagine if they didn't get that sign before all this shit went down? Oh, it would be a guaranteed lockout coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank God they got that figured out.
Well, I'm telling you, this whole thing is really going to show us which leagues are well run and which leagues are not, because they're going to all try to emulate and do the best thing, but you know someone's going to screw it up.
So listen, we have 2 minutes left. Let's talk about the big things. Eagles drafting a quarterback. Packers drafting a quarterback. What do you guys think?
Smart.
The Eagles coach came out yesterday and said that Jalen Hurts is going to play at some point. As far as whether it's like third, it's going to be like how Lamar Jackson was his rookie year.
Carson Wentz has not played a single full season healthy, and he has not had a good track record of coming back from injury stronger than he went into it. So
you just gave Carson Wentz a huge contract. Regardless of whether or not he can stay on the field or not, that's separate from it. When you draft a quarterback in the first and second round, you expect that quarterback to eventually become the starting quarterback, right?
But if he keeps getting hurt, you can't ignore the truth.
Right? No, I get that, but like it's just perceptionally.
Oh, yeah.
Like you draft a quarterback in the first round, you trade up to draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
How does Aaron Rodgers feel like? Aaron Rodgers is still top 5 quarterback in this.
So you know what happened with Aaron Rodgers? He ran his mouth. He finally got a new coach. They improved, but he couldn't push him over the top because he's taking a step back. I mean, I don't think this new coach had any allegiance to him.
The NFC Championship game last year, I mean, they were a quarter and a half away from making it to the Super Bowl. It's not like he's the reason they lost.
No, but the reason that Aaron Rodgers is in the position he's in is because they planned ahead and drafted him while Brett Favre was still there playing well.
Do you know, I read something today that Aaron Rodgers has only thrown 1 touchdown to a first-round draft pick for a wide receiver.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That means what are the Packers doing? They're not surrounding him by weapons.
Our quarterbacks haven't thrown any. So.
Well, Oh, we haven't had any quarterbacks, damn, for the last 20 years.
I'm not sure it's a bad idea for the Packers to draft a quarterback, give him 2 years to learn behind Aaron Rodgers, who's a Hall of Famer. I mean, it worked for them before. I mean, I don't know if Love's the right guy, but it's.
Oh, before we get cut off, good night, Canada.
Thanks for watching BuzzChomp.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Share.
Woo.